Hey guys, it's Marvelous Unboxing here. Did you guys don't know already, Black Widow officially dropped on July 9th. I went to go get early preview on July 8th, and I gotta say it was a pretty good movie. There was a bit of disappointments here and there, like not getting enough flashbacks of Black Widow's past life. That's what I initially thought the movie was going to be about. This movie does take place after the events of Civil War, but nonetheless still bringing you to a character from Marvel Legends series of the Black Widow line. We have Yelena Belova. If you guys don't know already, Yelena is actually a sister of Black Widow. For you comic fans might know already. I'm not sure if it's still canon in the same way as the comics, but nonetheless she's still a spy created by the Red Room. And overall, if you guys have not watched the movie, I loved her character more than some of the other characters. She was quite a beloved character, I'm not gonna lie. She was made some good jokes, and she was very sarcastic, and I think those same characteristic types apply to me, so I loved her character. But nonetheless, not wanting to sidetrack too much, going over the character, we can see that I've mentioned before that the packaging for the BAF, or the Build-A-Figure character, is extremely bizarre. We have something that takes up almost 50% of the entire thing. As you guys can see right here, it includes two shoulder mounts and the big old abdomen piece, and it's enormous. It's probably even bigger than the in all honesty, it's a lot bigger than the actual Marvel Legends, but it makes up the entire big piece of the actual character. It looks like you can actually split this without it making it look weird. But nonetheless, though, we have Yelena, and in the back it says a product of the Red Room's ruthless training program. Yelena is a merciless assassin. So if you guys watch the movie, you guys will understand. But nonetheless, though, I don't want to get too sidetracked like I just mentioned before. This is character number 2 in the Build-A-Figure. So we'll get a closer look at that. Anyways, let's actually go ahead and unbox this. Taking a better look at Yelena's accessories, we actually get a lot less accessories, and let's not forget about Crimson Dynamo, as someone said his name actually is Dynamo, or whatever his name actually is. I do not care, that's the way I pronounce it, or the way it is. I don't know if there's actually some correct pronunciation for him, but for the sake of it, if it's Crimson Dynamo or Dynamo, whatever you want to call him, it's spelled the same way. But nonetheless, getting this out the way, because we don't want to make that such a big distraction. There's not too much of real accessories with this, basically the same ones we get to see with Black Widow. Two weapons which actually look just to be about the same exact models as we got from the Black Widow. Taking a better look right here, if this actually decides to zoom in this time, I can actually do some comparison to the other Black Widow. I saw that they were actually the same. So we get two standard issue pistols, and we get two mixed up hands. Now these came in like this, so one's open and the other one is actually closed, and it's the same way on Yelena's character. One of them is actually closed and one of them is open, which I guess you could just take out one and put the other one in, so you can actually give her two dual pistols. But that's all the actual accessories we get. Nothing too cool, just, you know, the ordinary really. And then diving over with Crimson Dynamo, what you want to call him, this guy is enormous. We actually compare it to the actual character. We can zoom out just a little bit right here. We can tell that the comparison is vastly different. I mean, just look at this. It's big, like really big. Nonetheless, though, it does include these little shoulder mounts that you can actually mount on with these little pinholes that are right there. So you just actually attach them in, and the neat thing about that is that it actually twists and turns a little bit, so it actually has some fluidity to it. Just be sure when you actually attach them that you actually plug them into the right side and not the other side. It actually also includes this piece back here, which is not actually part of the actual thing. You gotta actually attach it, so it does not come pre-attached. I'm not exactly sure what this piece is for. It might be some sort of designer thing or something, but I guess it just hides the back of it. But you can tell, I assume that's some sort of shoulder rocket mount or something. But these are the pieces that come included with it: the shoulder pieces, no arms, the back piece, and this whole torso part. That's Crimson Dynamo for you. And now, taking a closer look at the actual one of the other main characters in the Black Widow movie is Yelena. Now, this is the first time I'm actually holding this character, and it does have some sort of similar model to the actual Black Widow character. Slim arms, slim legs, basically everything. It's almost exactly the same. I assume that they use the same type of model or sculpt to actually make the characters, and then they kind of just diverge from there. But nonetheless, we get to see this character in the actual trailer, so there is no spoilers or potential anything to be like, oh look, there's a spoiler, yeah. We actually see it in the trailer, and when we actually see it in the trailer, Black Widow is also wearing a white costume, and they're in snow. So I think 1 + 1 = 2, and oh my goodness, you can make you can make the assumption that they're in a winter place, and this is some sort of camouflage. This costume is actually very, very basic, which is what you're going for. We got the same holsters that we get to see on Black Widow, as you can tell right there. We actually just zoom in right here. They're actually already holding something, so it doesn't look like we'll actually be able to actually put in some weapons. I think this is just the way it's already been made for, and we actually get to interswap the actual weapons. We'll focus on the more articulated side rather than actually doing any more of the design flaws or anything. Basic shoulder movement, so we're gonna get the same 360 on the other side as well. It doesn't look like on these type of Marvel Legends we have the little elbow movement right here, or arm, that allows you to spin it 360. We have elbow, which is gonna allow you to spin or go back all the way, not really forward anyway at all. Wrists are going to spin 360, and they do have some type of fluidity forwards and back. It's a little bit complicated, but you can do a little bit like that. So you can see right there, it's apparently a broken wrist. The actual articulation on the waist is roughly about the same. As I've said before, this character is probably just based off Black Widow and just a different design overall. It's not really too much of articulative as I wish it was. Not too much you can really do. It only bends back and forward a little bit. It does have the same type of articulation as Scarlet Witch. Is going to allow you to spin 360, so that's pretty neat as well. 2 in 1. The hips, well, they go back, not a full split, but kind of close. I guess if you pull hard enough, you'll start going towards the actual knees rather than the actual hips. But that's what we have here. Again, the same holsters. The knees are going to go forward all the way. As you can tell right here, we have seem like a double joint right there. Just gonna allow you to do that right there. So that's pretty neat. And we do not have the leg joint that we usually get. That's gonna allow you the leg to spin 360. The ankles, again, forward all the way, back some, and looks like they're back to ballerina class. So that's about all the articulation you're going to get. It's pretty basic, it's pretty simple. Again, the only one I'm really upset about is the head. Mostly, we're going to go over that in just a couple seconds. But again, the abdomen, it's not really going to go back all the way, which I really wish for, to recreate some cool scenes. But nonetheless, no, let's talk about this. So I skipped over the actual head joint for a particular reason. I had not realized this until I actually went over the video, when I actually cut the video off for a split second there. This is horrible. I'm not even gonna lie. If we actually compare it to another character, it's extremely hard to tell with Black Widow, but you're able to actually pull back the hair just slightly ever so on the other side because of the leverage you get. And it's a little bit, again, like I mentioned before, it's a little bit complicated, but it's not really that much of a reach. If only we could pull hair back, we'd be able to see a little bit more. But we've gone over other characters, for example, Bucky, and this is, I think really all you would need is to push this down forward a little bit. If we take this off just gently this time, I think really one thing they could have actually done better is make this smaller, but that might be the issue. So that was not the issue. And looking at it much better from the front, I think it looks pretty good. They didn't do so much of a good job with the actual face design. She does have a pretty nice face in the actual movie. This is a character I had never seen, an actress I had never even heard of. She's a pretty attractive one, and I think they really botched it up a little bit. The hair is something that I'm always exempt for. You can't really do a real life hair unless you actually dive deep into the actual higher end design of toys. But I think the front overall for a character, it does not look bad. You can hardly tell that there's any design flaws, but you actually turn and look at the sides, it doesn't look so bad at certain angles, like right there probably, but once you get over to the back, it starts to look horrible, and you have to make it look at a certain angle so it looks realistic. Because once you actually start making the ball joint look up or even down or side to side, it's so loose and it makes it look very, very bad, almost like a monster. And it looks like it's only worse on this side. So I think they really, really botched up the ball joint, and this is probably the worst I've ever seen on the Marvel Legends in particular. It's just really, really bad. Here's a comparison again. Hard to tell. So I guess the only thing they could have really done is make Yelena with her hair down. Maybe they could have done a better job with actually pulling this off, because the hair would have been covering it. But as far as this goes, it's terrible. I think Yelena overall in the actual movie was a fantastic character. Very sarcastic, and I actually liked her jokes. She landed it very well, especially when she insulted Black Widow or some of the other characters. So I think that's personality wise. I am very sarcastic in my own personal life, so I think that's in ways that I liked her jokes very, very much. But overall, we focus more on the actual character itself in correlation to the actual movie. It was a fantastic character, and I really hope to see more. The post-credit scene really did tie things up, and I'm ready to see more of Yelena in the future, especially to see what happens later on. But nonetheless, though, I really wish they would have done something better about the actual head. It looks terrible, and I do not ever hope to see that again, because if that's the case, we're just done with Marvel Legends for this wave, and we're going to have to move on. Terrible, terrible, terrible. But overall, if we actually put the jawlines aside, I think the character overall looks pretty nice. It's a very simple character, so that's not really much you can mess up on, and I think it looks great. Again, the green jacket with many, many pockets looks fantastic, and I do love this character very much, and I'm very glad to see we finally get big pieces of Crimson Dynamo. But nonetheless, though, make sure to go watch Black Widow. It's currently out right now, and I think the movie theater should be a little bit more empty than from the box opening weekend. It is going to be Monday after all, in a couple of days, so if you're free, go feel free, go take a shot, watch the movie, go get some popcorn tins, get a comic as well while supplies last, and let me know what you guys think of the movie. Again, this is another superstar in the actual movie, and we got one more to cover before we diverge into some comic characters. But nonetheless, though, I hope you guys enjoyed. I will be seeing you guys later on. Peace out, and ta-da! Crimson Dynamo, Crimson Dynamo, Crimson Dynamo. Look at me, I'm Crimson Dynamo. Oh.